Actually, and then at the end, I'm going to ask a question. This is feeding back a bit. And then I'll ask a question from the thing, and whoever can actually win this. And I think Nigel's not here to show that we're not showing any branding, so there's no ambush marketing. It's a bus with no branding on. But Thomas, thank you very much. I just referred to Mr. Chair. Thank you. And it's a great honor to stand before you and just really to talk to you about the BRT and what we're really. I think there's so much been said about the BRT, and hopefully today. It's a very broad subject, and I'm just going to give an overview today of the BRT and really the rollout and what I've termed it the rollout of a misunderstood threat. Just to go through quickly the contents, we're just going to look at what is a BRT, the pros and cons of a BRT, BRT in South Africa, a threat within, or is it? Carbon footprint, BRT, and we've dubbed this a little project we call the Green Road Ahead. BRT and the conference industry, and I think that will be very important for you guys because mainly people here is all from the conference industry. Can I just say quickly show of hands my audience, any bus operators, tour operators? No, besides 1, 2, good. So right, so really much I'm talking to the layman when we come to busing, and particularly the BRT, there you've heard a lot about it. Obviously going into conclusion and take it from there. Essentially, what is a BRT? BRT, acronym for Bus Rapid Transport, essentially emulates the performance and characteristics of a modern rail-based system, transit system, at a fraction of the cost. So as your normal sort of a light rail transit system, or as we know as our metro rails and that kind of stuff, it's a busing system that it sort of produces the same results in that, but obviously at a fraction of cost. And I'll go into that a bit later when we talk about infrastructure and that. I think it's important now, and I'm going to go through this systematically, the slides, because I think it's important to understand what are the features of a BRT. A lot of guys that drive around Ellis Park, you see these things being built up. I was in Soweto a couple of weeks ago. BRTs are being built there, and like I say, we'll go through that. But I think it's important just to go through and have a look at the features of a BRT. If you look at it, it's really fundamentally made up of stages. Runways. Segregated bus-only lanes allow buses to operate at higher average speeds without the constraints of traffic congestion, thereby reducing traveling times and enhancing safety. And I think if you look at the picture on the right, that really paints the picture for you. It is completely dedicated lanes going forward. Stations. Strategically located high-quality BRT stations along trunk routes allow passengers to board and alight quick and safely. Stations have raised platforms to provide level access between station and the vehicle. The actual BRT buses when you go through is actually not your normal bus where you're getting from the bottom. They actually raise from the top. It's actually in with the station. You actually climb from the bus straight from the station straight onto the bus and back again. And it's also very, very secure, and nobody can from the road come and jump on it. You actually have to go through. If I just show you quickly, the buses are there. People have to enter the tunnel, ticketing system through there, and then obviously, like we talk about a raised platform, they walk straight on. So not your conventional buses as we see them in the street. The vehicles, modern high-capacity vehicles, articulated or bi-articulated buses with seating capacities of almost up to 160 passengers. The BRT vehicle uses low emissions and low noise vehicle technology to minimize the impact on the environment. Services. High-frequency services are used to reduce waiting time at stations and to ensure that large numbers of people can be cleared through stations in short time frames. And obviously the more buses you put in, the more you can clear. And that is the idea of a BRT, is that you have buses coming on a particular trunk road every 5 minutes, loading, and you obviously have your high traffic loads, your low traffic loads, and you can control that. Stops are minimized by using as many direct or express service or limited stop services while still allowing for intermediate services, stopping at multiple stations along the route where required. And I think that's really just 2 points of this really gives you an idea that within the inner city, and so a picture paints 1,000 words, and really that gives you an idea of a trunk station of buses coming through. But we talk trunk routes, route structure along main corridors are supplemented by feed and distribution services which allows passengers to get to and from the main trunk lines. And just explain to you what I'm going to be referring to quickly, trunk lines and feeder lines. A trunk line is really the main line that it runs on. So these are basically the lines that will run on and go through. Feeders are actually other services, and let's call it taxis or other bus operators that will actually feed onto a main trunk line. So it's mainly like a main line and then obviously feeder lines through there. So when I do refer to that, hopefully that clears that up. Fare collection. Pre-board fare collection and automatic fare verification technology is used to allow for faster